Hey everybody, well, welcome you back to another video. Today we're out here at the 100 Years of Progress event in Carthage, North Carolina. This year is the 20th anniversary, and it's been a good one so far. I think they've had probably the best crowd people-wise and best crowd tractor-wise they've had in a couple years. So we'll try to take you along and show you around here. Got some interesting John Deeres here. 730 with a single front wheel. We don't really see 730s that much down here anyway, so that's pretty interesting. Then a little AR. It's also something you don't see a whole lot of. I mean, he's got plenty of A's, but normally narrow fronts, row crops. 1530. Probably the most normal in this little assortment here. Then a 420 high crop. Looks like we'll finish out internationals. I liked his little BN. I wouldn't mind having one of them. Although this right here out of this row is my pick. This little W, I think it's W4. Yeah, W4. Nice original paint. Throw some of that, I think it's called linseed oil on that, and you'd have your good looking tractor. I'm guessing this is a WD9. They may be a little bigger. This may be a WD6. This sweet little H with a nice big straight pipe. Nicely done fortune. And in the back here we got a really nice 801.
We've got a new first place tractor in this class, Nathan Pascal at 219. Buddies, this is 21264.
here is one of the real interesting buildings, although they all are. Like this one used to sit at the sides. Now, don't get me wrong, I love, normal tractors, but these steam engines and the older prairie, oil pull, those kind of tractors, they might just be my favorite, even though I'll almost definitely never own one, or probably ever run one for that matter. I don't know. You just don't see this. This is just something you don't see every day. You aren't gonna see these at your average tractor show, and so I don't know. Maybe that's why they're so special, or why I like them so much. Because I do tend to like stuff that's a little out of the ordinary, if you will. And it's got rubber tires on the front. Yep, there's a bottom plow right here. Oliver plow. It's an exhibit. This is an exhibit. And the boat. Absolute behemoth right there. My goodness. One Super MGTA. Can't imagine there's too many of them around. Like that quilt. Got some relatively unknown trucks on there like this Dodge. Oh, that's from 2 years. Yeah, 2 years ago. Diamond T. Looks like another Diamond T right there. Yeah. Little Ford. I guess this is considered a cab over. Got a, what is that? You Ford guys probably know better than I do. Which I mean, I like Fords, but I like all brands, I guess. It looks like a flathead V8, I'm assuming. Then, of course, you know me. You know how much I love a good model Mac. Although, this right here is probably my one. Well, no, I'm not going to say that. But I also love these. I think they're called B series. Is that what that? Yeah. Yeah, B series. These are. Yeah, I like these older Macs by far. Sterling. I'm not sure what this is in the back. Is that another Diamond T? Looks like it. And then of course there's this little Fortune hiding back here in the corner. Alright, well they're working down on the other end, so they're down there trying to put tractors away. But this is one I keep hoping that they'll get out, get it running. Because this is actually considered a local tractor. These were built in North Carolina. Here's something else I want to make a note. This radiator cap. I want to say that only came on this style of Oliver, that transition from Hart Oliver. I think that's a pretty rare piece, especially if it's an original. That's really rare. From what I hear, people like to steal those. I would like to have a 70 like this, or a 60. There's a little 70, I think, Ultra tractor. I like that 1000, G1000. A lot of neat stuff in here. Now here's all the older steel wheels. I think that's all that's in here. And there is something I've noticed down in here this year. You know, maybe it's always been this way and I just forget. There is an overwhelming smell of old gas this year. I don't know why. I mean, I do know why. It's because I'm in a building with nothing but old tractors that get started once a year, if they're lucky. But yeah, I imagine that's absolutely awful to drive. They should get that out. Yeah, I can't imagine that's fun whatsoever. I think they usually have. I think this middle row are ones that normally run. I think, because I think I recognize seeing some of these out, and at least this year or the past couple of years. I don't know. It's hard to remember in from year to year because there's quite a bit to see down here, if you can believe that. Probably a pretty interesting thing. I don't know that I've noticed this one before. I'd love to hear some history about this. Huh. I know the Cockshut sold the Oliver 60 as the Cockshut 60. I think that's the right numbers. I know it was the 60 Oliver that Cockshut sold. But I was under the impression that was their first dealing with Oliver before they eventually merged. I'm gonna have to research this one. That caught my attention. I tell you, some of these you gotta be pretty strong to drive these kind of things. This is a cute one. I'd like to see this out and about. That's got to be the tiniest one. That's going to be the tiniest one of those I think I've ever seen. That's adorable. Here in the center, they got a bunch of oil pull tractors. Of all the tractors here, these are probably the most common, I guess you could call them. So this is where a lot of the 2-cylinders and stuff you see more often are. Which I guess that's why they got out here instead of in a nice enclosed shelter. Although there are things like this Massey Harris that's out here. that you'd expect to see in there. Those gravels are fun to walk through. Now here's something I would like to learn more about. I don't know what this is. It doesn't have a tag on it. I'm assuming this is like some kind of shop mule or whatever. I'm guessing. That is my best guess. So it got a Detroit in it. Can't make that tag out. So yeah, I have no idea what this is. Looks like it. Oh. Yeah, I couldn't tell you. 40/20 canopy with seat still in the wrapper. Probably means this tractor got a restoration or paint job or something. Well, I get this stuff every year, so we'll go through it fairly quick. But you know, it's always good to see, because you got stuff you don't see ever. I mean, when else have you seen an 806 LP that's four-wheel drive? You know. Or this is something I do want to note. I like this swather, I think is how you pronounce it. If I can pronounce my words right. This is definitely not your everyday sight either. Now today's Sunday, so there's not quite as much going on down here, but there's still a few tractors sitting outside that ain't been put up. There's there. I like that one, that roller tractor. Guess they're using that H or M to start. They use that tractor to start a lot of stuff out here, which I don't hardly blame them. It's probably the easiest way to go about it. And there's this tractor, which I'm glad to see they got out. It's sat in that building down there for a long time, but I'm glad to see they got it out. Well, here is a little Farmall. I'm guessing it's a 200. I don't see any badging that says otherwise. It's not a Super C, but I like it because it's of Clapp Brothers from Siler City. So I like that kind of stuff. A tractor that's been in North Carolina and a dealership that I recognize. I like that.